Today we'll be giving a gameplay overview and review of the game Covert, created by Kane Klenko and published by Renegade Games. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with To Die For Games. I'm Mandi, the board gaming pinup girl. My fellow hosts are
Tracy, the gaming maven.
Stephane, the game's teacher.
Covert plays in about 60 to 90 minutes, is suggested for ages 10 and up, and accommodates 2 to 4 players.
Looking to see how to set up? Well, timestamps are below. Just click on it.
Why don't you leave a comment for us, let us know how we're doing, and subscribe to be notified when we post new content.
We've got Covert all set up and ready to go, so let's get to it. As the name suggests, you are spies working covertly to accomplish missions. You will collect equipment and intel across Europe to further assist you in completing your missions. So Tracy, tell us what's inside the box.
1 board, 20 dice, 5 of each of the 4 player colors, 12 agent pawns, 3 of each of the 4 player colors, 60 intel cubes, 15 of each of the 4 player colors, 40 agency cards, 60 mission cards, 60 character cards, 4 player screens, 4 turn order tokens, 4 reroll tokens, 12 cipher tokens, 40 code cards, 16 special operations tokens, and 1 bag, as well as the rulebook.
So let's take a look at the cards. Mission cards are kept secret. To meet the requirement of equipment listed on the card, the player can use completed code cards or agency cards. If a city is shown, the player must have an agent in that city. If a region symbol is shown, the player must have a player in that region. If a picture of an agency card is shown, the player must discard any agency card. Endgame victory points are listed in the upper left corner. Agency cards are also kept secret. Equipment. This card can be discarded in order to complete a mission. City. Discarded to fly an agent to the listed city. This is in addition to your normal action. Special ability. Discarded to activate a special ability. Special operations tokens can be discarded in order to activate the special abilities. These are listed on your player screen for easy reference. There is no limit to how many you can use or acquire, and they are used in addition to your normal phase actions. Code cards. Once completed, they can be used to satisfy equipment requirements on mission cards. Completed code cards not used for missions are worth 2 points each at the end of the game.
Place the game board in the middle of the table. Take a character card. It's more fun if you do this randomly, so you can be surprised by the special ability they possess. Each player takes a player screen and the following in their chosen color: 5 dice, 3 agent pawns, 1 reroll token, and 15 intel cubes. Shuffle the agency cards and in turn order, each player draws 3. Your agents will be placed at the locations listed on these cards. In a 2-player game, you will take 6 intel cubes of each of the unused colors, then draw 12 agency cards one at a time and place one of these cubes in the matching cities. After all agents have been placed, reshuffle the agency cards and deal each player 2. These are to be kept secret. Shh. Deal 1 agency card to each region space along the edge of the board. Shuffle and deal each player 3 mission cards. Choose 2, place them behind your screen, and return the others to the bottom of the deck. Place the mission deck near the board and flip the top 3 cards face up near the deck. Shuffle the code cards and deal 2 to each player, which they keep code side up behind their screens. The remaining cards are split into 2 equal-sized decks and place them equipment side up near the board. Shuffle the cipher tokens and randomly place them in 2 lines of 6 tiles each. Stack the turn order tokens in ascending order, numerical order, near the board. Put all of the special operations tokens into the bag. Place the bag near the special operations folder shown on the board. To determine start player, all players roll their dice, and the player who rolls the most dice of a single number goes first.
The game is played over multiple rounds and has 3 phases. Phase 1. Roll and place dice. All players simultaneously roll their dice and place them so they are visible to all players. Remember, each player is allocated 1 reroll token that they can use anytime during the game. Once used, it is discarded. Starting with the player who was last in turn order from the previous round, or the start player in the first round, and continuing in clockwise order, players will place one die at a time on one of the action spaces, action circles, special operations folder, or decoder on the board. When placing on the action circles, the die must match the number printed on the board and must be adjacent to another die if one has already been placed. The die can be any value on the special operations token place. When using the space, the player immediately takes a token and places it behind their screen to use on future turns. Used tokens are returned to the bag. Dice placed on the decoder will be used in order to break a code. More on this later. On a subsequent turn, if a player is unable or chooses not to place a die, they can instead choose to take a turn order token and forfeit future actions this phase. This will be their turn order for the following phases. Once all players have chosen a turn order token, you move on to the break codes phase. You can perform these two actions one time each per break codes phase. 1. Swap the position of two adjacent cipher tiles, and tiles can be swapped. 2. If you had a die on the decoder, place it on top of a cipher tile to change the result to the number shown on the die. Note, you can only use one die per code break. If you can break a code, you place the completed card equipment side up in your play area. Lastly, you draw a new code card and place it code side up behind your screen. You should always have two. Once the break codes phase is completed, you move on to the dice resolution phase. Phase 3, dice resolution phase. In turn order, resolve dice, one action at a time, removing dice from the action circle when completed. These are the different types of actions. 1. Complete a mission. A player can complete a mission card as long as they meet all requirements on the card. 2. Drawing a mission card. A player may take one face-up or face-down mission card for each die they have in the action circle. Remember, you have a hand limit of 3 missions. If you already have 3, you can take more, but you must discard down to 3 by the end of your turn. 3. Drawing an agency card. For each die on this space, a player can take a face-up agency card. The player must take an agency card corresponding to a region where their agents are located. If you choose to take 2 dice, the player may draw any one face-up agency card or take one from the deck. After drawing a card from the region area, replace immediately. 4. Movement. A player can resolve any number of dice as a single action. For example, take 3 dice, move each agent 3 spaces, connected cities. When an agent leaves any city, they must leave an intel cube behind. Note, there can never be more than one intel cube of the same color in the same city. When all players have all of their dice back, the round ends and a new one begins. Return the turn order tokens. Last player goes first and then proceeds in clockwise order. So there are a couple of important things you need to know while playing. Stephane?
When a player moves into a city with intel cubes, we call them spy poop, from other players, they pick them all up. Yeah. As soon as a player obtains 2 of the same color, they return them to the player and get an agency card. The agency card will either be from the region where they picked up the second intel cube, or from the draw deck. Completed missions. Completed missions are placed face up under the character card with the bottom portion of the card showing. Some missions may show benefits. If a completed mission has a piece of equipment at the bottom of the card, it can be used to satisfy future missions. If there's a region symbol, it can be used to satisfy the requirement of meeting an agent in a matching city or region on future missions. So, how does the game end? Tracy?
The game end is triggered when a player completes their 6th mission. Players will then have one more opportunity in turn order to complete one mission card if they are able. No other actions are taken, but special abilities from agency cards only and special operations tokens can be used. After these final missions have been completed, the game ends. Players count up their points from the missions and unlocked codes. The player with the most points wins. So that is how you play Covert.
And now we're ready to give a review of Covert. What'd you guys think?
Surprisingly liked it. When you first came to me with it, I was like, spy, not my style. So I was kind of dreading it. And when I sat down, I was like, this is pretty good. Even though the very first time I was half asleep. The second time I was not half asleep, and I still enjoyed it, so it was good.
What do you mean spy not your style? You're a huge fan of Burn Notice.
That's true.
I mean, come on.
But I just didn't think it was going to be quite my thing, but it ended up being that I quite enjoyed it.
I enjoyed this game too. What I liked about it was the various ways you could use the agency cards.
Right.
The agency cards have a couple of different ways that you can use them depending on which iconography you're following. So any game that gives you multiple ways to use the cards, I really enjoy.
So I too really enjoyed. I think I probably have played this game the most out of all of them because I keep teaching it to everybody. So overall, I really enjoyed it. But we're going to talk about a few things and explain why we liked it. So next, we're going to talk about artwork and theme. What did you guys think about that?
So the artwork is very thematic. It's kind of got that old worldy or you know, the old spy thriller kind of look with the map. And I like all the cards. All the art on the cards is really good. I think the one thing we all talked about was the writing on the actions. They were kind of small, and there was no little cheat sheet for the actions specifically for those 4 actions you could put your dice on. So that was probably the only part I didn't really like about it, but overall, very, very consistent with this theme.
Good.
Yeah, I mostly have the same comments. The cards were fine. The game board itself, I felt, could have been done a little bit clearer so that it was more visible from all angles of the table. Sometimes it was hard to read the text along with the actions in the action spaces. So I agree with what Tracy said.
Okay, so artwork and theme, exactly what you're saying, it was quite thematic. I mean, you knew it was like spy related. I love the fact on the board where they had like the little notebook, it looked like a coffee stain. I legitimately, when I got it, I was like, oh, that's part of the board. So I really thought that was nice. So overall, the colors were vibrant. The board itself was reflective of the game. Like, I thought everything worked really well thematically. Now, we kind of stepped over into quality of components and maybe talk about components a little bit. I'm going to talk about the board here. I think the board itself, quality of the board was good. It was nice and thick. It needed to be bigger. I found exactly what you were saying. It was really hard to see some of the locations, especially when you started putting your spies with the cubes. I'm like, okay, I need to move stuff out of the way. So it got a little crowded. So I think that could have been expanded a little bit. And also the action spaces, it all said action, action, action. You had to really read it. And I know teaching new people, it was hard because they were just like, okay, I'm confused. So I actually ended up using Post-its to kind of make it really clear for them, or even a little cheat sheet would have been good. But other than that, I think the cards were good quality. The dice were nice and big, so the numbers were really visible. I had a nice felt bag for the special operations tokens, and, you know, little screens. So, I mean, overall, I think those were good.
Yeah, yeah. The quality components for me, again, very good. Another thing that, again, this is a very minor thing. The shields.
Yes.
Because you have so many things hiding behind it, you're like trying to like jigsaw your pieces so you can see everything behind it, but not let anyone else see.
Yes.
I accidentally saw one of his code thingies because he just didn't have enough room to hide everything. But I helped you. I gave him a hint for that one, so it actually helped him.
Not very good spies. But I do agree with that.
Scratch your back, I'll scratch mine. Wait.
Yeah. But yes, I do agree with the screens. Like, because I mean, you could have up to 7 agent cards. Like, that was a helmet, and then you've got like 3 missions and the code cards. So after a while, you're things like this. So you're all sitting this far on the table. Again, something minor, but yeah.
Exactly. It was very minor, and it doesn't take away from the game. It was just a little bit of work trying to make it work.
Again, same with Tracy. I'm not a big fan of shields in a game. I understand why you want to keep things hidden. If the shields have to be in the game, I really like for them to be solid and not easily tipped. Like, they can't easily be tipped over. These thinner cardboard paper shields, they just take away from the quality aspect of the game for me. I'd like to see it made out of thicker cardboard that's just a little more sturdy.
Yeah. Okay. Game mechanics. Maybe we'll start with Stephane this time.
I like any game that has dice as placement, like it uses dice for worker placement. So, you know, use the dice to take different actions. That appeals to me on a number of different levels. So you have the randomness of the dice, you have the choice of being able to place them in different actions depending on what you're trying to achieve. I was almost taken aback by the not being able to place dice around the wheel unless there was another die adjacent to it. So if you weren't first on a given action space, you had to match your die to be adjacent to one of the dice that were already there. And that limited me in a few cases where I wasn't able to take the actions I needed to take, and then I had wasted actions that weren't really optimal. I know why they do it. It just frustrates me when I never get the actions that I want to take.
So, what do you think, Tracy?
For me, I quite like, again, also similar using dice placement because the face values, a little bit of press your luck based on the values that are rolled, but also strategic on where you place them. But the thing I liked actually was the code breaker part. I know some people might find that fiddly. I actually really liked that because you're kind of affecting each other, and sometimes you see someone's face go, oh,
Exactly.
you just change something on them. You don't know because they're hidden, so it's kind of cool. That was probably my favorite part of the game.
Hidden, not hidden.
That's right, hidden, not hidden.
Well, it also gave you some more equipment, right, to complete your mission card. So, I mean, why not take those cards, right? And then you can save your agent cards for something else.
Exactly.
So, yeah, all the things you talked about, I agree. I really liked the fact what you were saying with the worker placement, but using dice. It's just a nice twist. It's a bit lighter kind of game. I would say light to medium, maybe. So it's a nice twist. So I enjoyed that. I do feel the game can get a little long sometimes at 4 players. And I don't know if it's just that maybe it's just the type of people you're playing with, but I've played it consistently enough that it can get a little long. So I don't know if you shorten the amount of objectives, or I don't know. I don't know how that would work.
You could.
It seems like that would be a fairly obvious way to do it. Is
Yeah.
just make less
One
missions
less
be
or 2
required.
less for your missions. But overall, I mean, but other than that, the game mechanics worked for me.
Oh, and one game mechanic we have to talk about is the intel.
The spy poop.
The spy poop.
Spy poop.
So it's always going to be known as spy poop.
Everybody I know, everyone I teach it to, they're like, is that
Who told you that? Like, where did spy poop come from?
literally? We would just talk about it and like just joke, and I'm like, we're like, it's like poop.
You leave 'em
So
alone.
what happens here is as you move your spy tokens around the map,
Right.
for every city you leave behind a little cube, and it's supposed to represent intelligence that the spy has left behind, maybe traces of their activities or whatever that other spies can use to
Right.
get an advantage over them. But it just looks like the spy's leaving behind a little pile of something, so spy poop.
Sorry. I mean, that's all I know. People enjoy it. It makes it fun. What can I say? Similar games.
For me, it's got a couple of similar mechanics as Thieves. That's
Right.
the first one that kind of came to mind for me. Of course, there's the map,
Right.
where you're traveling around the map, but also you're affecting people also by drawing from bags. There's 4 different bags that you draw from, and what you pull out kind of minimizes what other people can get. So you're kind of affecting other people indirectly by drawing from this bag, similar to doing
Right.
things like the code breaking and stuff like that. So mechanically, it's somewhat different, or considerably different, but it's got a lot of similar type of feel of how you have to play the game and affect things.
Right. I know we were talking about Deus, which I played not too long ago and I really enjoyed. Now it's not the same. I think it has a bit of that area control, but it has some of the aspects on the board where you can play something, but then someone can take that over. Or the actions with the cards, you can actually take the action on the card, or you can take a different action on the board. So there are multiple ways to take action. So that was representative, I found, of this game as well. So that was some similarity for me.
For me, the placing the dice as actions reminded me a bit of Elder Sign. But Elder Sign's a cooperative game, whereas this is not. This is competitive. But similarly, you're using, in Elder Sign, you place certain dice faces on the cards in order to complete a card and fulfill a mission, basically. Same as you do here in Covert. You're gathering different resources in order to fulfill those missions and end the game. So.
And I know you kind of touched on Kingsburg a little bit. I know it's not exactly the same, but you are taking dice, placing on an action to acquire. So, I mean, that is very similar. So final thoughts.
I enjoyed it. I wasn't prepared to enjoy it. It actually took me into my second playthrough, I think, before I'm like, this is all right. Yeah, I was really having fun with it. So yeah, no, good game.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I really did actually enjoy this game, and I liked all the thinky parts of it, and how you had to kind of manage everything. So yeah, definitely a great game.
So I really like this game, so thanks, Dan. Dan showed me this game because he raves about it all the time. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I've taught it to people who are not super gamers and people who are gamers, and they all enjoyed it. I don't know what else to say. It was really good. People liked the dice aspect and, the different types of actions and, oh my gosh, I'm fulfilling my missions, or, oh my gosh, I got a spy card. What can I do with these special action tokens? Like, it just was really exciting to see people really enjoying it. So overall, I quite enjoyed it. So 2 thumbs up for me. Oh, and the rest of the game too. So that's it for this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.